So I played Elden Ring Nightreign across 18 hours of dying over and over to bring you the best tips so you don't do the same thing. So let's do it. So to heal your teammates, you have to hit them. This will make a bar deplete, and once the bar is fully removed, your teammate will stand up. Whilst this is a great mechanic, it's near impossible to get over to your friend when the boss has decided to sit on their body and guard it. This is where having a bow comes in handy. So no matter what class you're running or build you're planning on making, just grab a bow and fire shots at your friend from afar. This way you'll get them up without needing to engage with the boss. If you've grabbed a staff and it happens to have Zama Ice Storm, I found that this was so overpowered for picking up 2 friends at once. Just get your friends to huddle together and then do a drive-by Ice Storm and keep running. It will do the job. Now we're on the subject of picking up weapons not intended for your playstyle, let's talk passive buffs. Because I was running Duchess for 80% of my time on Nightreign, and I still picked up staffs, big shields, and huge two-handed weapons because the buffs were too good to pass up, and you don't even need to equip them. I had a big two-handed axe in my inventory that gave me the damage negating crack tier bubble every time I landed successive attacks, which was all the time, and I didn't touch that axe once. Trust me, after you've decided on the weapons you're going to use for that game, just start filling in your other slots with whatever passives you think will help you survive to the end. I'm not sure what it is in Nightreign, but the enemy tracking isn't as intense as Elden Ring. So for that reason, you can very easily just walk behind an enemy multiple times and just backstab them, which does ridiculous damage. And you can just do this until they go down. You can also do it to quite big enemies and there's little to no consequence. Because there are 3 players just running around like maniacs, the enemies just kind of focus on whoever they saw first. So for a team that are in a party and have good communication, backstabs are going to be endless and you will be taking out full camps in seconds. And if you go for Duchess, backstabs will literally be your bread and butter anyway. At the end of every game, you'll get some rewards. The best part of those rewards will be the relics, which you can equip to your character for a permanent buff. Well, permanent until you swap them out. One of the best buffs you can get from these relics are status effects to your attacks. Not your weapon, your attacks. I equipped a relic that did Scarlet Rot +2 to all of my attacks. So I didn't even need to think about it. Whatever weapon I was smacking bosses with, they'd eventually proc some Scarlet Rot, which made the downtime between attacking very successful. I only saw a relic offering Rot or Poison, but I'm sure there are lots more that I didn't get the chance to see. In Nightreign, it's very easy to get distracted and split up, and somebody goes down, they lose a level because you can't get to them in time, and your other teammate is attempting to one-man a boss, even when the storm has already passed them. I was that exact guy a few times. This might work for day one, but obviously doesn't work in the long run. The best way to play Nightreign is having a system where you know where you're going straight after you've cleared out a dungeon, and you all move as one. That's why it's easier to just have somebody in charge who knows exactly what they want to do. This way, you move as a tight unit, you move in and out, and secure as much loot and runes as humanly possible. Being efficient, effective, and knowing where you're going is the best way to do this. Speaking of knowing where you're going, if you're the elected guy, then make sure you ping exactly where you want to go constantly. Once you will clear a place out, ping the next place and keep it moving. You're aiming for dungeons, caves, and camps that will potentially have a boss in it. Taking down a boss will get you a big passive buff or legendary loot. When I had a team that all knew to follow one person and we kept moving and taking down bosses before the night arrived, I had so many passive buffs and good weapons that the first night boss was a joke. If you want a comfortable fight when the night rolls around, your whole team should be at least level 7. Obviously try and aim higher than this, but I found that 7 was the magic number for not being too squishy, especially if you're running Recluse or Duchess, because they are glass cannons that need a bit more defense before going into a fight. You can probably afford to be a level or 2 lower if you're running Guardian or Wilder, but 7 isn't hard to get to if you're hitting all the bosses like I mentioned earlier. Also, try saving 10,000 for a smithing stone too, then you can upgrade your weapon once, which makes a huge difference. Unlike Elden Ring, your base weapon with no upgrades can still tear through bosses, but the +1 version of it, whilst being at level 7, is like having a cheat code. You just hulk through the first boss, especially if it's the Centipede, who felt considerably easier than the Demi-Human Queen and Swordmaster. Trust me, they are the main reason you want to at least be level 7. I warned you. Yes, you read that right, running is fine, and sometimes it is needed. Just because you see a boss doesn't mean you should take them on. Usually, if one of your teammates are running away when you take on a boss, it's likely because they're experienced and they know you ain't winning that fight. Some great examples would be taking on the Royal Carrion Knight Tree Sentinel straight out of the gate. So many of my teammates in so many games wanted to rush him straight away. And whilst 70% of the time we did succeed, it just took up way too much time. And Knight was already closing in by the time we beat him. It's just not worth it at level 1 or 2. Same with the dragons. Don't take on a dragon if you see them at level 1. You're going to get destroyed. Running into dungeons and clearing them out, hitting level 4 or 5, and then attempting the dragon and carrion knight with better loot is the better way to go. Remember, although you want to be taking out bosses constantly before the night rolls around, you want to be doing it quickly. If it takes more than a couple of minutes to drop a boss, then consider running. Just remember to ping to let your team know. You don't actually get locked out of a character when somebody else chooses it, and any team comp does seem pretty viable. I probably wouldn't go for 3 recluses though, and I'd suggest having at least 1 guardian on your team. But apart from that, go nuts. I did have a game where we had 3 duchesses at one point, although we did all get completely ran over by a normal mob right at the beginning. It does fully depend on whether the player knows their role. Later in the game with the Duchess trio, when anyone went down, someone could always turn the team invisible and go pick up the downed ally. So it worked out really well. We could have probably done with a guardian to tank some hits though. Beating Gladius Beast of Night wasn't as bad as most people were saying. He was hugely weak to frost and bleed, and once he was hit with that huge chunk of damage that these cause, you can then just use Duchess's restage power, which will then hit him with the exact same chunk of damage again, which is huge. Some helpful things to bring to the Gladius fight is a bow for picking up your friends, warming stones so you don't waste all your flasks, and if you can find any, definitely stock up on swarm throwing pots. If you're all holding at least 2 of these, the fight will be over so fast. But yeah, I hope these tips help you. Anyway, click on this Nightreign differences video and please subscribe.